Good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2013. It's about 8:45 in the morning. And today is day 26 of my sugar withdrawal program, the T-30 method. So there are 4 more days left till I'm completely sugar-free. And this drink has about 2.5 teaspoons of sugar, or about 10 grams, 10 grams of sugar in it. Let me try a little sip. So this pretty much, well, it's still a little bit sweet, but tastes mostly like water. So still everything is going according to schedule. No withdrawal symptoms really. My weight is still going down a little. I've been stuck at about 192, 191.5 for a while, which is fine. So I've lost about 6 pounds, plus or minus a couple pounds. So about 2 pounds per week, 1.5 to 2 pounds per week, which is sort of where I want to be. And my energy levels are good. In terms of hunger, I don't really have much. I haven't really felt hungry at all during this program. So everything's going according to plan, and so good, so far so good. I finished this book yesterday. Fat Chance, Beating the Odds Against Sugar, Processed Food, Obesity, and Disease by Robert Lustig. And as I mentioned before, he's the guy with the video on YouTube, Sugar the Bitter Truth, that has over 3 million hits, and is one of the major proponents of the theory that one of the primary causes of the obesity epidemic in the United States and the world is sugar, and more specifically fructose, which is found in sugar, table sugar, and high fructose corn syrup. And that's sort of, I'm sort of riding along on this, and I sort of believe that, or I think that's a reasonable theory, and so I'm trying to cut back on sugar. So I finished the book. I can't remember, the first sections were just introducing a bunch of terms, and in the second half, well, here's an interesting thing. It's just talking about fat. In a nutshell, your body fat is your biggest long-term risk for infirmity. Nothing correlates with diabetes, heart disease, and cancer better than your fat. So, and in this book, he's talking about how sugar sort of creates fat. So I sort of agree with that, and I'm trying to basically lose some weight. So let me just see, what else can I say about this thing? I read it over the past couple days, so I have to refresh my memory. Also, in terms of, I think I've discussed this before, one of the plagues of the modern world is obesity and something called metabolic syndrome, which is a precursor to insulin resistance and diabetes. And it's sort of a cluster of symptoms that's related to high body fat, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugar. And the easiest way to just look at someone or to think that you might have it is your body fat, particularly the fat around your stomach. I guess he calls it visceral fat here. And then for men, it's one thumbnail way of looking at it is if your waist is over 40 inches. And so mine is 38, so I'm sort of getting close to that. Although even on this diet so far, I'm starting to lose some weight, so my waistline is getting down at least a little bit. Okay, so fat, metabolic syndrome, and then he talks about in the 60s and 70s, there was a big, they were even worried about the obesity epidemic back then, and heart disease, and there was competing theories. One was about sugar, and the one that won out was about fat, basically that dietary fat would contribute to heart disease, and obesity. And it got so it was so influential that actually a lot of policies were created to create lower fat foods. And this is the whole thing where you buy ice cream, it says low fat ice cream, and everything is sort of saying that it's a low fat product. But it turns out that that may actually be wrong, and the Atkins diet came out, I guess, in the 70s or 80s, that basically said that really carbohydrates are the problem more than fats in terms of weight gain. And then this is, I guess, the third wave where they're saying, well, within carbohydrates, it's actually sugar, and fructose in particular, that's the main problem. And so I'm sort of espousing that view. Also, I just think, I definitely, I haven't checked with my doctor about this or anything, because I don't really think I can hurt myself by cutting out sugar. There's nothing really extreme about what I'm doing. So I'm not even cutting out carbohydrates. I mean, for me, there's three main food groups. There's, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And I'm not going to cut out carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are a major part of the human diet. And, it produces glucose, which is the fuel of the cell. So all I'm doing, one of the good things about this is it's a very simple program. You just cut out the biggest problem, which is sugar, which is what I'm doing. And I'm losing weight and I don't have much hunger, so I don't think I'm hurting myself. Okay, so he talks about fructose. Then he talks about how concentrated fructose, which is found in sugar and high fructose corn syrup, is the real toxin. And one of the things when I first heard about this is I was like, well, fructose is found in fruit. That's got to be the healthiest thing you want. But he argues that in fruit, well, first of all, you can't get that much fructose in fruit. And second of all, it contains a lot of fiber. And he talks about coupling the poison with the antidote. And essentially, as long as you have fructose with fiber in it, it's going to absorb more slowly and won't be as much of a problem. So he talks about fiber and exercise. Also, I think he mentioned here, or I read elsewhere, that fructose is in fruit, but back in the Stone Age or whatever, particularly people in Europe, there wouldn't be that much fruit around except during particular times of the year, like during the summer. And some of the characteristics of fructose that make you fat may actually have been an evolutionary advantage in those societies and those times where you basically fatten up during the summer, and then you're going to be burning that off during the autumn and winter. So to me, there is sort of an evolutionary idea where fructose could actually make you fat. Now that we have fruit all year long, plus they've got concentrated fructose in cane sugar and high fructose corn syrup, it makes sense that could be causing obesity and metabolic syndrome. Okay, I'm just sort of skipping things. And then basically, he talks about the solution to the problem of fructose. And I'm going to start up again. Hold on. So he talks about the potential solution to, if this is really one of the root causes or the root cause of diabetes and metabolic syndrome and poor health and disease, what can you do about it? And there's basically two ways. One is the personal solution, which is sort of what I'm doing, which is if people get this information, and this information is true, which remains to be seen, but you could, this T-30 method is a way of getting off of sugar. So I don't need any governmental policy to do that. I've come to this conclusion, and I devised this method, and I'm getting off of sugar, and I'm losing weight, and that's the end of it. And I sort of have a libertarian streak in me, and I sort of think that that's probably the way to go. Now, there are other ways to do it where the state would get involved, and he outlines a variety of them. Here's the book, by the way. I think I've shown it, but just to put it up here. like taxation and, tariffs and I forget, he has a bunch of potential governmental solutions. Taxation, changing the environment, subsidy, cut back subsidies for, the grains that produce these things, changing the marketing to children, and things of that nature. Or, just limiting, or he even sort of says where there would be an age limit to when you could, drink a soft drink. Well, I guess it's sort of reasonable. So those are the two ways to attack the problem. Once, there are a few more years of examining it, whether it's true or not. Now I have my own, actually, idea, which I'm going to present later. That's related to the intersection of caffeine and sugar, which I think is where the big bang for the buck is. But I'll probably introduce that at the end of this program. So I don't know. I feel like I'm rushing through this, but I just wanted to talk about this because this is sort of an important thing. This is really what got me interested in it. I had heard about it secondarily through some websites, and then went back and saw the video, and now I got the book, and I'm pretty much sold on it. And I think in any case, it's an easy way to lose weight, which seems to be happening, and it's not as extreme as the Atkins diet or anything like that. Okay, so today is day 26, so I'm basically almost sugar-free now. I should be sugar-free in 4 days, and then my goal is to then stay off sugar for 30 days, and then we'll see what it is after that, then for the rest of the year, which would be 2 months, and then re-examine the situation at that point. Okay, thanks for watching.